Cool. Okay. So today's presentation, how to start trading oil options safely and profitably without being glued to the screen all day, having a ton of money, which is always good, or being an oil expert. We'll cover all these. Orville has his first question. What kind of broker is required to trade oil options? Orville, we'll actually cover that and I'll have a slide with a lot of names of brokers that you can use, but most likely, whatever broker you're using now to trade stocks or options, you'll be able to use that same broker most likely. Okay. But that's a great question. A lot of people are, concerned about that. But before we do go on, we do have to cover the disclaimer. So trading involves substantial risk. Don't trade with money you cannot afford to lose. Nothing in tonight's presentation is individual investment advice, nor is it a solicitation to buy, sell, or hold any investment or security. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results, right? So we don't want to play with the rent money. So awesome. Cool. Welcome. I am super excited to have you here. We do have a lot to cover. I'm going to be revealing to you a proprietary trading system that I use to trade oil options and how it is, in fact, much easier to trade than just about any other market out there. I'm also going to be revealing how I do these trades with a 90% probability of working out in my favor, and then I do this in less than 20 minutes a day. And then I'll be answering your questions at the end to make sure that there is no confusion. Cool? So, if you have traded options before, if you're already trading either equity options or commodity options, you already know 80% of what you need to be successful. Okay? You're already there. So the hard work has already been done. I want to fill you in on the remaining 20%. You guys ready to get started? Yeah? Cool. Because I know this is going to be great. But before we move on, I need your undivided attention. So please close any of the tabs you have open, put your phone away, turn off the TV it's on, because I don't want you to miss any of this. We have a lot to cover. I'm going to be talking fast, and I do not like to talk to myself, so I'm going to need you to be typing in the chat box. So if I ask a question, please answer. If I tell a corny joke, right, please laugh. You put in a ha-ha or whatever. It does help my confidence, and it's more fun. So thank you, Gary. So let's get a dialogue going, all right? Thank you, Stan. But first of all, I want to introduce you to somebody named Dale. Okay, now Dale's a sweet guy. He's 82 years old now, I believe, and he's a retired business owner. He lives with his wife in a small town called Amarillo, Texas, and he spends his days fishing, going into town, spending time with his wife, and trading option. You see, Dale was one of the first few people who learned the stuff that I'm about to share with you on this training, and since then, he has fallen in love with the oil options. And I did have the fortune to interview him about his results, and there was something that he said that really shocked me. He said that when he started using the same strategy that I'm about to share with you, he started with only a $4,000 account, which is a pretty small account. In his first year, he turned that $4,000 into $21,000. Yeah, you heard that right. A gain of $17,000 in 1 year, his first year, or in other words, 425%. And that's real money, right? That's not paper trading or back testing or any of that what-if stuff. That was real money. Imagine that. 425% in his spare time from a small town. That is the power of what I'm about to share with you and why I'm so excited. You guys with me? But you might be asking yourself, hey, Alan, if this stuff is so great, why are you sharing this? I get people sometimes ask that. It's like, hey, why are you sharing this with other people? Why not just keep it for yourself? Well, it's because of what I call my mission. Now, my mission is to help 10,000 individual investors reach freedom. And this is not some patriotic support our troops freedom. This is freedom on a personal level, right? So financial freedom, so you have no more worries about making ends meet and having more than enough money for safety and security. Time freedom, so you can do what you want when you want. You want to travel? Cool. You want to volunteer? Awesome. You want to go back to school? Do it. You want to see a movie in the middle of the day? That's amazing. It's beautiful when you get to do that, When you want to go to lunch when the restaurant is empty? Yes, please. Right? And how about choice freedom? So you can live your life on your terms with no restrictions. Now, every time I share this with people, like, yes, I want that. So that is my goal. And tonight's presentation is one of the ways that I am helping people to get that. Now, my question is to you is, would you love to be one of them? Please answer me in the chat box. Would you love to get any one of these freedoms? Would you love to be one of these 10,000 people that we help? And the yeses are coming in. So, right, duh. That's why you're here. That's why you're learning, right? Now, I know that I don't take it lightly that you're here with me on the line. I know you have to take time out of your day to be here, and I'm going to make it worth your while. Now, I'm sure that you're probably asking, hey, Alan, what's different about this webinar? I've been to other webinars. What's so good about what you're going to share? Well, awesome. Good question. Tonight, I'm going to let you in on my secret underground trading plan. Now, I've been testing this and tweaking this plan for over 5 years, and I'm finally sharing it with others. And unlike most other gurus and trading experts out there, I'm actually paying the bills doing what I'm about to teach you. It's kind of unique, right? I mean, would you guys like to see proof of that? You would, right? Of course. Show us the money. Okay. So if you stay until the end, I want to do two things. I want to show you my results, real money results from my brokerage account, and I want to show you the exact strategy that you can use. Do the same thing. Now, what we're going to be discussing, oil options can be used with multiple strategies. But I will show you what I've been doing, and then I'll stay with you until, as long as you need, until every question is answered. Fair enough? So I do have a lot to cover. Probably take about 90 minutes with the Q&A session. So here are my goals for this class. By the end, you're going to know, number one, the best and easiest way to be profitable trading options. This is the way I have used to beat the market or beat, the indexes every year since I started trading this way. Number two, you're going to learn the 3 secrets of trading oil. Number 3, you're going to be able to predict oil prices. Imagine that. You're going to be able to predict oil prices with accuracy. So we're going to be doing some exercises where I'll show you how to figure out which way oil is moving. And then number 4, you're going to know how to implement my system step by step. Now, this is all backed up with 5 years of trading, over 5 years of trading, thousands of trades, lots of ups and downs and heartaches when I was learning. But in the end, it was all worth it. Now, before we go any further, I need to make sure that you're in the right place. So if I describe you, please put a yes in the chat box. So if you're investing and you're doing your best, but you need to earn more than what the bonds and the index funds are paying you, and you want to take less risk, let me know. If you are somebody who just needs more money every month, maybe you need a larger monthly income, then I want to show you how you can set this up to pay you every month. And that income that you make, you can either leave it in your account to grow, or you can take it out and enjoy it. Okay? And then one thing that we're not going to be covering in detail, we're not going to go over this, but one of the benefits of oil options is that the gains that you make, the profits that you make, you're going to be paying less taxes than you would if you were trading regular options or stocks. Okay, so that's another benefit that we don't even have time to get into. Or if you want to take your destiny into your own hands and trade for a living, this is going to be awesome. Because if you don't already have an edge in trading, I'll show you my edge and how to use it. Now, if any of these are you, and a lot of you guys have put in the yeses already, this is awesome. We're going to be covering a lot of this stuff. You're going to be able to do this. And I missed the safe retirement, right? But I mean, safe retirement, that goes without saying, because right now with retirement the way it is, people are struggling. I mean, we get emails every day where people say something like, hey, I lost my job. I need the money. How do I trade? How do I learn this stuff? But, that's almost too late, right? If you have the reserves and if you have the time to learn, then you know that there are ways to do this other than going out and getting another job. So that's what I want to help you with. So why is this critically important right now? If you're anything like me, you've tried several different trading methods in your quest to be a better trader. But sadly, the results don't always live up to the hype. So how many of these have you tried? Stocks, bonds, forex, binaries, swing trading, day trading, even Vegas, right? You probably tried several of these, if not all of them. We all do. We all go through from one to the other thinking, oh, this is the answer, this is the answer, this is the answer. So question is, why aren't you rich yet? Simple question. And I mean, the answer is not because you were the problem. That's what a lot of people think. That's what I used to think. I can't make it, and all these other people on TV making so much money, maybe I'm stupid. Maybe I'm an idiot. Well, no, that's not the real answer. The things that they give you, or the ways that you're supposed to make money in all these things, were either too complicated, they take too long to see results, they took too much money to implement, or they just don't work. George is asking, how do you know? George, I know because I was in your shoes. I wasn't always a full-time trader. I mean, I've done almost all of these, and I've lost money on almost all of them. I'm not a big Vegas guy, but most of them I've done. And it's really frustrating, isn't it? I mean, it's so frustrating because everywhere you turn, it seems people are making fortunes. You know, you turn on the radio, turn on the TV, all the talking heads saying, buy this, buy that. We made money doing this. We made money doing that, you know? I know how it feels. Trust me. It makes you doubt yourself. Because when you're trying to learn, you're trying to figure it out, you think, hey, you know what? If this thing works for me, I mean, if it works for others, then it should work for me, right? And you try it, and it does work, or it doesn't work. Jeez. I mean, before I figured it out, I remember telling myself that I was either too stupid to be a trader, and I just didn't have what it takes. But then I realized that it wasn't the me. I wasn't the problem. And the problem is not you either, okay? The problem is that you either did not have a method that actually worked, or you did not have the support to figure it out. One or the other. The thing didn't work, or you didn't have the support, maybe both. Does that make sense? I mean, it's time that we ended your search, okay? Seriously, there has to be a better way. The good news is that there is. The truth is that you don't need 10 different ways to trade. You don't have to use 15 different strategies. You need just one. One method that actually works. One plan that actually works. That is easy to understand and doesn't take a lot of time. Right? And this is what I think I have found. This is what I've been doing. This is what I want to share. Now, this is Michael. Okay? Michael is just like you. Normal guy, working a normal job, thinking he's on the right path to retirement. But he wanted to make sure, so he went with his wife to go see his financial planner, make sure everything was okay, right? That's when they got the devastating news. Even after putting away money for decades, the guy basically told them, hey, you know what? The investments that I put you in, they didn't really work out too well as we expected. And so, Michael, you're going to have to keep working. Maybe another 5 years, maybe another 10 years after retirement. You know, so when they were supposed to retirement, it was it's like, sorry, buddy, can't do it. Keep on working. And can you imagine what Michael must have felt? I mean, he was not smiling, I bet you, like he is in this picture. Dreams of golfing in the afternoons, visiting the kids, traveling, all just disappearing. I want to make sure that you don't end up in that same boat. Or if you are already in that situation, that you have the ability and the option to protect yourself. Okay? So now before we go any further, I have to express some house rules. First of all, there's nothing here for those of you with a get-rich-quick mentality. I'm sure you've been promised untold riches by others, but that's not what I'm about to all about. Okay? I preach financial conservatism. Safety, pretty much. Not taking excess risk and hitting base hits instead of going for grand slams. Okay? Secondly, if you have never traded a stock before, I'm afraid most of this is going to be over your head. If you've never traded options, we can work with you. But if you've never done stocks, it's going to be too complicated. And then third, this is probably not you, but if you already know everything, if you're a know-it-all smartass, then this is not going to be for you either. Because what I'm about to show you works for me, and it has worked for my students. So all that I ask you is to keep an open mind and to be open to learning. Are you guys willing to learn? To hear about something that's probably something out of your comfort zone, right? Because most of you guys told me when we started earlier, when I asked you earlier that how many of you guys have been trading oil options, there was only a couple of you that said that you had. So I understand this is going to be a little bit outside of your comfort zone, okay? But we already know, statistics tell us, that over 90% of individual traders lose money. And right now, unfortunately, you're probably part of that statistic. But what about the other 10%? They must know something, right? Or they must be doing something that the 90% are not. Well, I'm going to show you what that is. And lastly, I got to tell you, my results are not typical, right? I'm not going to claim that you can make any certain amount of money with this system. I cannot guarantee that you're going to make any money. But what I can guarantee you that if you do nothing with this, then nothing is going to change. The only way to change your life, your circumstances, is to take notes, to soak it all in, ask questions, and implement. Okay? Because this is the way I do it. This is the way that's worked for me. So that's what I can show you. Now that we got that out of the way, let's go on. Now, I haven't introduced myself. My name is Alan Sama. I'm the head trader at OptionGenius.com, creator of the weekly trading system, author of the book How to Protect Your Portfolio, and for the past 15 years, I've been studying investing and option selling in particular. So I spent over 14,000 hours trading, read over 300 books, watched countless videos, taken all these seminars, spent over $100,000 on trading tools like software, systems, courses, all that stuff. Over the past decade that I've been trading full time, I've done a lot of things right, and now hundreds of people are members of my sites, and many others have bought my trainings. One of the most common questions I get is, Alan, this is all great. There's so much stuff out there. There's so much ability, there's so many different things we could do. What's the best way? What is the number one way that I can get profitable? And here's the answer that I would tell somebody, my own family, like if my father asked me this question or my brother, I don't have any brothers, but if I did and they asked me, this is what I would tell them. I would say I would want to find a way that you can get started quickly, something that is simple and not too complicated, because I like simple. Okay, I would want to start with very little money or very little investment in case I only had a little bit of money or even none at all. I would want a method that is forgiving, so I don't have to be perfect because I know I'm going to screw up in the beginning, especially, right? If I screwed up, I want the trades to still be able to work out, and I want something that I can do for the rest of my life, in just a few minutes a day, and that I could grow into, starting small and then reinvesting my profits so that the gains are larger and larger, right? It's kind of like golf, right? People get into golf when they get older because it's easy on the body. So they know that they can play until they're, old or until they keep going. You can't play football. You can't play basketball when you're like 65 years old. Most 65-year-olds I know don't. But they can play golf. So this is, I would want an investment style that I could do where I don't have to be on top of my game all the time, I could do it in a few minutes a day. So good news, the method that I'm about to show you meets all of these criteria. So what is the best and easiest way to be profitable? Well, it's simple. You have to sell options instead of buy them. Okay. Now I could go on and on for hours about the benefits of selling options, but I just want to go over the basics so that we're on the same page. And so when we go into the talk about oil, we're all understanding the same. We're all understanding where we're coming from. So those of you who are familiar with selling options, when you sell an option, you are essentially selling time, because options decay with time and then they expire. They basically go away. So by selling options, I have been able to place trades that have an 80 to 90% probability of working in my favor. That's mathematical. I don't come up with those numbers. That's a Nobel Prize winning formulas that give me those statistics. Okay. I can have a potential return on my investment of 10% a month. And that's a month, not a year. I always know my risk before I get into the trade, and my trades only take a few minutes a day. Now I know what you're thinking. Sounds too good to be true, Alan. And that's what I thought at first too. But it is 100% real, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do it in just a few. Okay. Felipe is asking on stocks or indexes. Well, you could do it on both. You're going to do it on stocks, you can do it on indexes, and then we're going to show you why you should be doing it on oil. Okay, Felipe? Now, option selling has a ton of benefits. It's easy to understand, super hard to mess up, used every day by hedge funds, market makers, professional traders. Some of the most successful investors you can think of sell options. Warren Buffett, Mark Cuban, all these guys. Even Forbes magazine repeatedly tells its readers to sell options. Now, you take Warren Buffett here, right? He's been quoted as being against derivatives. And an option is a derivative. Now, he said that they were either too complicated and the common ordinary person should stay away. Well, if you are an ordinary person, then yeah, you have to live with ordinary results. You just settle for 8% a year that you get in the stock market, or like 1% that you get in your bank account. And then you struggle for the rest of your life to save enough money to retire, like Michael I told you about earlier. But if you are not ordinary, which I don't think you are, then you don't have to settle. And you can do a lot better than that, because Buffett himself, over the course of his career, has made billions and billions of dollars using the exact same strategy I'm going to show you. He hasn't done it on oil that I know of, but he's done it on Coke. He's done it on Burlington Northern and the stock market in general. right? Right now, I want to show you how you should do it on oil and why it's even better to do it on oil. So in all my years of trading, I have not found an easier, more relaxed, yet lucrative method of trading that works in all market environments. Up, down, sideways. Doesn't that sound like the perfect way to trade? Yes? Cool. So I have been trading options on equities for a while now. Can I get a show of hands? How many of you guys trade options right now? If you can let me know. Okay, so we got a bunch of people. All right, cool. So I'm preaching to the choir pretty much. All right, so then let's cut to the chase and get to the oil. Awesome, cool. So I've been trading oil equities for a long time, but I didn't start doing oil until 2012. Okay, I wanted to see if there was something easier. Something more lucrative than maybe equity options, and something safer as well. So I went looking for a way to make things simpler, and that's when I found commodities. Now, commodities are things like soybeans, gold, oil, corn, and there's a whole bunch more. I mean, I don't know if you remember the movie. There was a movie called Trading Places with Dan Aykroyd and Eddie Murphy. And they were trading oil juice in that movie. I mean, it's a great movie. That's also a commodity. If you've never seen it, it was very funny. I think you should go watch it. But when I found this stuff, I was really intrigued what I learned. And so I kept digging and I kept researching. I said, this is freaking awesome. And I found that of all the commodities out there, there was one that was amazingly liquid, meaning lots and lots of stuff traded, price supported. The price was basically stable, in super high demand and irreplaceable in today's world. Okay? Doesn't that sound awesome? On a daily basis, there are hundreds of billions of dollars worth of this commodity traded every day. I mean, there is a legitimate floor beneath the price. It cannot stay below this level. There is no substitute for this commodity in the world. And heck, everybody wants it and needs it. Wars have even been fought over it. So I started selling options in what I call my underground market. And I call it my underground market because oil, and here's my corny joke, comes from under the ground. Get it? Bada bing. Thank you very much. I'll be here all night. So it's underground because most people don't know about it, and it also comes from underground. So I started using my regular trading account, and thank you to those of you who left, to just make $1,000 a month. That's all I wanted. I wanted to try this thing out, Let me see if I can use some of the strategies I already know to true my oil, and maybe if I can make $1,000 a month. And it took me a little bit of time to get the hang of it. But eventually, I started getting consistent. And that's when things got really exciting. So here are some of my results from back in 2012. Okay? Now again, I was just trying to make $1,000 a month. The results over 13 months was a gain of $9,500. Isn't that awesome? I mean, look at the consistency. I lost money in only 1 month out of 13. Right? I mean, are you guys excited yet? Because I'm going to show you exactly what I did to get these results. Now imagine if you could do that though. I mean, wouldn't your self-confidence be through the roof? Wouldn't you be on top of the world? I knew I was. I couldn't sleep at night because I was counting all the millions of dollars I was going to make. So for that, everything was awesome except for that part of it. Now, there are 3 secrets that I need to share with you guys. The 3 things most individual investors don't know or need to know about the oil markets. Secret number 3, I'm going to count down. Trading oil options is safer and more lucrative, than equity options. And a real life example is going to prove my point. Number 2, you don't need to be an expert in oil to trade it profitably, and I'll show you how. And then secret number 1, trading options does not have to be risky if you put the odds in your favor. Okay, and I'll show you exactly how to do that as well. So let's start off with secret number 3. When you can take a lot of the risk out while keeping the potential for huge gains, you have an amazing combination that is hard to beat. So this is something that somebody actually told me not too long ago. I spent some time with this guy at a party explaining to them, how I trade oil. And this is what he said to me. He goes, Alan, that sounds great and all, but my wife knows somebody who lost a lot of money in futures and she won't let me. And at first I didn't know what to say. I thought he was joking, but he was dead serious, you know? And so, I mean, me being who I am, I turned to him and I said, "Hey man, does your wife know anybody who's ever been in a car accident? And she still lets you drive?" That was kind of pretty much the end of the conversation. But all jokes aside, okay, you probably know or you've heard of somebody who's lost money in futures. I mean, we all do. We all have, right? But that person probably didn't know what they were doing, and he surely didn't have my system. And also notice that he was talking about futures. I was talking about futures options. There's a difference, right? It's kind of like the difference between stocks and stock options. Once you learn how to sell options on stocks, you probably don't ever want to go back to selling stocks, right? I mean, it's the same with futures. It's like what George just said, right? He said it's very stressful to trade futures. You're right, George. But over here with the options, the pace is much slower, so it is less stressful, and the numbers work out in our favor, George. The truth of the matter is that if you're not willing to try something new, like this guy wasn't, right? Or you give up even before you get started, your life is not going to change. And that's why you're watching, right? Because you want things to change. I mean, there are so many reasons that oil is awesome to trade. Most people don't even know about them. So let's go through just a few of those, okay? So unlike stocks or gold, oil has actual value. It is used in everything from gasoline to plastics to tires to shampoo. The world cannot live without oil right now. Okay? It's not just for energy. Don't you agree? So this is a market that is not going anywhere. We're going to be trading this stuff for years and years. Second, there is an economic law that dictates which direction oil will move. Once you understand this law, you can predict with an amazing level of accuracy which direction oil will move, and then everything else is just noise. That law is the law of supply and demand. Okay? Now think about it. Over the long term, if there is too much oil, right? Too much oil, prices go down. If there is too little oil, prices go up. The only reason oil prices move is if there is an unbalance in supply and demand. And Stan is saying OPEC? Yeah, OPEC is the supply side, right? Demand side is what's going on in the economy. Now, this is unlike stocks, which can move on earnings, interest rates, an SEC investigation, some high executive quitting. I've even heard them blame the weather on why their stock tanked, right? Now, in just a little bit, I'm going to give you, we're going to guide you in how to use this law, right, with real examples. The third reason that you should be trading oil is that there is an actual floor to the price. It can't go to zero. There's no way oil will ever go to zero because there is a cost to drill the wells, to pump it out, to store it, to transport it. We can't just print more oil when we want to dilute the price. And it's not like a stock where they can just issue more stocks or a company can go out of business and go to zero. Oil will never go to zero. Okay? Because it's a thing. It's a tangible thing. Fourth, oil is uncorrelated to the stock market. So this is wonderful for diversification. So for example, let's say you have a lot of money in mutual funds that you don't want to move, okay? Or in a 401k that you can't touch. Or maybe you own a lot of money in the stock of the company that you work for. This is a great way to diversify your risk away from the stock market and to keep your eggs in different baskets. All right? And then fifth, the futures markets protect their own traders. So if you're scared to trade futures, I bet you didn't know this. The markets themselves, like, you have the stock exchanges. Well, you also have futures exchanges. So New York Stock Exchange, well, you have Chicago Board of Trade for futures. Okay? So think about this. What if we experience a black swan event, right? Something unpredictable, something massive that rattles the whole world, If that happens, it's going to be something really, really bad, like a war or a nuclear bomb going off or something like that. What do you think is going to happen to stocks? Stocks are going to drop like crazy, right? Because it's uncertainty. Nobody knows what's going on. It's bad news. Stocks will always go down. But oil might go up or down depending on if it's going to disrupt supply and demand. Okay? And what if oil makes this huge one-day move, a crazy, humongous move in one direction? Well, guess what? That's not possible because there are no flash crashes in futures. Because futures markets have something that's called lock limit. Okay, this is a protection in the market to protect the traders. This is where if oil moves in a certain amount in a day, the exchange will actually lock or freeze oil from trading. The prices will stay the same until the next day. And although the price of oil freezes, the options markets, where we're going to be trading, stay open. And they keep trading. And so even in this worst case, end of the world scenario, option traders can still go in and exit and change their positions. So this is a protection against the black swan, okay? So you don't have to worry about these huge moves. Isn't that a relief? Also, it's another one. Futures markets are open almost 24 hours a day. So if something does happen and you happen to be awake and learn about it, you can take action immediately, unlike your stock trading friends who have to wait until the morning when the market's open. Okay? And then also, the third one, during normal times, I'm not talking about black swan, I'm talking about normal during the day-to-day trading, if things get more volatile, meaning oil starts moving around a little bit more than normal, the futures exchanges change the margin requirements. So they require more money on hand when things are moving. Okay? This impacts both futures and options. So what this means is that it forces you as a trader to trade fewer contracts when things are more volatile and lets you trade more contracts when oil is less volatile. The exchange is your friend. You don't even have to think about it. I hope I explained this properly. I mean, that gives you this extra protection. So when trading gets dangerous, you're going to have less money at risk automatically because the exchange will hold you back. You know, your stockbroker, the stock exchange, they don't do that. They don't care about you, right? The futures exchanges actually do that. Now, number 6, oil options are more lucrative and safer. Okay, and I want to show you with a real life example here. So in terms of premium, the amount of money you get when you sell an oil options pay out more in premium and allow you to be further away from the money than stock options. Okay, so you're further away from danger and you get more money at the same time. So to demonstrate, I compared selling a naked put option in oil to a naked put option in Apple. Okay, now this is a little bit old, couple of years old data, but this is the Apple option in the middle column, and then oil is over here. Okay, I tried to match these two trades up as much as I could, so the probability of profit, right, is 88%. Both of these trades have an 88% probability that they are going to make money. Okay. This statistic takes many factors into account, like implied volatility, average true range, and a bunch of other stuff that's, you know, beyond the scope of this explanation. You don't really need to know all that. Just know that they both have about the same probability of profit. They both expire in about 30 days. Actually, in 30 days, not about exactly 30 days. The credit, though, is very different. So over here, you have, you have a $40 credit for selling the Apple option. You get $350 for selling one contract of oil. Okay, that makes the ROI lopsided. Look at that. You can make 3.1% from selling the Apple option compared to almost 21% gains, 21% return by selling one oil option, right? For the same probability, for the same amount of time. Now the margin is a little bit different, okay? So the margin is a little bit higher for oil, 1673 versus 1273, but the oil option is actually safer because it's farther away from the money, 8% versus 13.6%. that means how far you are away from the current price. So, I mean, which of these would you rather have? Huh? So not only do you get a much, much higher rate of return with the same probability of winning, but you get the added benefit of having a greater margin of safety. Now, this higher ROI, 21%, allows the trader, if he chooses, to be in the trade for a shorter amount of time as well, right? So let's say I don't want to be greedy. I don't want to make 21% a month. Maybe I'm happy with 10% a month. Okay? So if I don't have to be in the trade for the whole 30 days, let's say I can get out in half the time. So as soon as I get my money, I get out of the trade. Now I'm not in the market anymore. Okay? And my money is not at risk. Okay? So this is what cuts down on what's known as market risk. That is the risk of always being in the market, always having your money exposed. Because if you want to make this whopping 3.1% in Apple, you're going to have to be in there all the way to expiration and let it expire. Most of my trades, right, I'm out of them in 14 days. 2 weeks, I'm in and out of my trades. Okay? Now, Philippe, I see your question there. I'm going to show you how you're wrong. Exactly wrong on what you just said. Okay? So stay tuned for that. So in my trade, since I'm there 14 days, I can take half the month off and not have any of my money at risk in case something like a black swan does happen. Now, Stan is asking, do options trade 24 hours a day? They're open the same time as the futures markets are. So it's not 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, but like if you want to go in right now and start trading, you can, even though the stock market is closed. I think they closed the markets on holidays and certain times on the weekend. But most of the time, I mean, I'm in the US based, so I trade during market hours. I don't even trade after hours. I don't want to unless you absolutely have to. You have that ability if you want to, but normally I don't, because I like to just trade during the day. All right? Reason number 7. Okay. Right now, I'm glad you guys are on this call right now, because right now this is a great time to be selling options on oil. Now, I don't know if you've been watching oil prices lately, but they've been going sideways to a little bit higher for a while now, for months. And most of the research is telling us that oil is going to continue to move sideways. All right? Now, we've had some really large moves in the past few years, and right now, everybody wants stability in oil prices, especially like OPEC, Russia, the US. All these guys, everybody wants a stable oil price, right? You have a market, which is oil, where the price is decided by man. They decide how much the price should be depending on how much oil they pump. And so when the whole world wants a stable oil price, heck yeah, they're going to get it. Keep in mind, though, that oil option traders, make great money when oil is trending. Okay, so if it's going up, we can make good money. If it's going down, we can make good money. But we can make a lot more when oil is stable and going sideways. Okay, does that make sense? Because those of you guys who know, we can sell options on both sides. We can sell puts and calls, make double the money for the same amount of risk, and you can double it up. Okay, and you do that under certain conditions when oil is trading sideways, like it has been for a long time now. Now, some of you guys might be thinking, hey, Alan, do I need to change brokers or get a new account? And I believe somebody asked this. I forgot who it was, but somebody asked this. Now, this is a great question, so let me put your mind at ease, okay? The answer is yes and no. You probably don't need a new account, but you will have to be approved for futures trading. To trade options, if you're not approved already, you'll have to be approved for futures trading, and you'll have to be approved for options trading, which you probably already are, okay? It takes just a few minutes to submit the application, and later on I'll give you more details on it, but it's really a no-brainer. And some of these brokers, Ameritrade, Schwab, TradeStation, E-Trade, Interactive Brokers, RJ O'Brien, DeCarly Trading, all of these guys offer options. I think Ally Ally's not on there, but Ally also does it. So, I mean, there are so many brokers out there that do, that you're not going to have any trouble finding a broker to let you do this. Okay. And as for IRAs, I believe somebody asked about if you could do this in IRA. It's actually up to the broker. Okay. Now I know Interactive Brokers does it, allow it. DeCarly Trading also allows it. The others will probably do it eventually, but I don't know every step by step. Like I don't know each one. The thing that most people don't know, and here's a little tidbit that most people don't know about IRAs, is that you can have as many IRA accounts as you want. So, if you want to use your IRA funds to do this, just open an account at a broker that allows it and transfer some money from your current IRA to the new broker. You can keep both open. I mean, it's no big deal, right? All right, so Larry's asking about Robinhood. Robinhood, I've never used Robinhood, Larry, so I don't know. And they're pretty new at options themselves, so I don't know. So, I mean, you can ask them about it, but off the top of my head, I don't know. Okay, so now that we know that oil options are safer and more lucrative to trade, right? Let's talk about how easy it is to trade options. So oil options. So this brings us to secret number 2, where you don't need to be an expert in oil to be profitable at trading oil options. Okay? So in order to determine which way oil is going to move, you need to look at 2 things. Right? So remember, now I'm all about simplicity. I like keeping things simple. So you need to look at 2 things. So those 2 things are the fundamentals and the technicals. So stick with me. It's a lot simpler than you think. In order to determine the fundamentals, we need to look at supply and demand. Right? How much oil is being pumped? How much oil is being used? Those are the 2 numbers we need. Where can you get that information? Well, the federal government is the best source for this free, unbiased information. The U.S. Energy Information Administration. Try to say that 3 times fast. These guys put out regular notices and forecasts. Okay? This is the source that everybody goes to for the latest unbiased news about oil and energy. EIA.gov is their website. I mean, if you want to, you can spend days there looking over geology reports and surveys and all the different, everything else about oil and energy is there. The other source you can go to is the financial media. All right? It's free also. All the news outlets, they run stories on oil. Everybody covers oil, many of them in very much detail. Futures Now from CNBC is actually my favorite. So if you want to check that one out. And you get this. All this information is free. There is no inside information when it comes to oil production, right? Everybody finds out everything at the same time. So, pop quiz time. All right, guys. Put your thinking caps on, folks. And please answer me in the chat. All right? So, here's your question. Let's say that on a daily basis, oil companies drill 95 million barrels. Got it? So 95 million barrels coming out of the ground. But the world only uses 92 million barrels. They are overpumping by 3 million barrels a day, or roughly 3%. What happens to oil prices? Especially if this keeps up for a long time. What do you think is going to happen? I mean, you only have 3 choices, right? Up, down, sideways. All right, down, 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 going down, should go down, 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 right? Everybody's saying it's more supply, prices go down. Exactly. That is exact scenario that played out in 2015. That is the number 1 reason that oil prices dropped from over $100 in 2014 to below $30 in January of 2016. Okay? That was it. If you guys knew that, you could have predicted this big drop in oil from 100 to 30. See, you guys got it. That is how you read the fundamentals in oil. Okay? Great job. Now let's learn to use the technicals. So in addition to looking at the long-term outlook, there's 2 ways to know what oil is doing. Number 1, you look at the long-term picture, the fundamental picture. What is it going to do over the next few months? You also need to have a general idea of what oil is going to do in the next few days. This is where some simple technical analysis comes in. Okay? Knowing where there is support and resistance on the charts can help you pinpoint your trades and pinpoint your entries. So when it comes to oil, okay, you can tell the direction of the trend by knowing the fundamentals. Got it? And you can tell what oil is going to do in the next few days by looking at technicals. Which ones? Well, support and resistance, as well as trend lines. That's all you really need. There is no need to mess with complicated indicators or chart patterns or Fibonacci or Fettuccine or any of that other stuff. You don't need it. Okay? So check out this chart here. As you can see, when oil gets to a certain price and cannot break above, that becomes a line of resistance. Okay? Same thing on the bottom side. If it goes down, but it cannot go below a certain level, that becomes support, a line of support. So you have support and resistance. I mean, if you can draw some lines, you're good to go. Okay? We want to keep it simple. Now, congratulations. Although you don't need to be an expert in oil to trade it well, right now, you know just as much as most professional oil traders. I'm serious about that. Most professional oil traders that I've talked to use very, very simple chart patterns. Support, resistance, trend lines, moving averages, and that's about it. Okay? So now this brings us to secret number 1. Trading oil or options doesn't have to be risky if you put the odds in your favor. So oil options work the same way as stock options. Okay? If you have ever traded an equity option, you already know how to trade a futures option. They are almost identical. So here is a option chain for SPY and one for oil on the right. Placing trades on oil is the same as placing a regular option trade. On your broker's software, they look the same. They act the same. You click the same buttons. You use the same type of orders, and you track them the same way. I mean, I bet you if I didn't label them here, SPY and oil, you probably wouldn't know which one was which. Pricing, though, is different, and I love this, because when you sell a stock option for a 30 cents credit, you get $30. Not a lot. But if you sell an oil option for 30 cents credit, you get $300. Not only that, but as I showed you earlier, you get to sell it a lot further away from the money than the equity options for a greater percentage return. So let's backtrack for a second. There's so many reasons why oil is an amazing market to trade. You got the 3 special protections that you don't have in any other market, right? We got lock limit, 24 hours a day, and the changes in margin. You can break down the price of oil and how it's going to move by knowing 2 things. How much oil there is coming out of the ground and how much is it being used. Oil options are safer and more lucrative than stock options because they offer a higher return for less risk. And by selling options, you have trades with a very high probability of success and a high rate of return. So I love the fact that you can sell options on oil just like you can on stocks. And so if you can trade options on stocks, you already know what you need to know to trade them on oil. Every option strategy that is used on stock options can be used on oil options. And when I found out about this, I knew this was it. This was the holy grail that I was looking for. So in secret number 2, I showed you how to identify the trend, right? The long-term trend, if we're going up, down, sideways. Now we need to pick a strategy. How do we trade that? So I like to keep it simple, and what I'm going to suggest is using either the naked option or the credit spread. Why? Because they're so easy to trade and understand. For example, you sell a $50 call option. As long as oil is trading below $50, when your option expires, you win. Boom. It's that simple. Low commissions. The simpler the strategy, the lower the commissions. And everybody likes lower commissions, right? High returns. I myself, when I'm trading this, I like to make anywhere from 5 to 10% a month. That's a month, not a year. And I don't know about you, but to me, that's an awesome return in my book. And I aim for 90% probability of success on each trade. Would you be okay with that? Making 5% a month in something that is totally diversified from the stock market? I know, right? Awesome. These are also very easy to manage, right? So the simpler the strategy, the easier they can manage. When a trade goes against you, which they sometimes do, you have to be able to either adjust or exit the trade. These two strategies allow that better than any other. So I want to point out here this and stress that when trading oil options, you can always adjust your position. In other words, you can always change your position. You're never stuck in any trade. So you can always adjust it so that even a losing trade can turn into a winner, or maybe just not lose so much. This is super important to understand, because just like when you buy a stock and it goes down, you can wait, all right, until it comes back up. When you sell options, if the trade goes against you, you can adjust it until you're back into the positive. All right? Now hold on, Alan. Aren't naked options dangerous? We already had this question earlier. So my answer to you is no, they're not dangerous if you know what you're doing. Okay? And there are basically two reasons that people are scared of naked options. And if you were talking about the stock market, then I would totally agree with you. But this is one of the main differences between oil and the stock market. Okay? And that's why I'm going to show you why you shouldn't be afraid of naked options in oil. So the two reasons that people are afraid of naked options are because of assignment. They're afraid of getting assigned the stock. Or number two, they're afraid of the really large moves, right? That could make large losses. So let's look at both of these issues really quick. With my system, the way I trade, you will not be assigned, okay? Because in order for an option to be assigned, it has to be either in the money or very close to it. And number one, has to have very little time left to expiration. So it has to have those two things, close to the money or in the money, and very little time value left. In my system, we never let our options go into the money, never, or even close to the money. And number two, we always exit our positions way before expiration. So getting assigned is something that I don't ever have to worry about. In fact, in all the thousands of oil options that I have sold, I have never once been assigned. So if you just follow those two steps, never go into the money or close to the money, exit before expiration, you don't have to worry about getting assigned. Okay? That's number one. Number two, you also don't have to worry about the large moves with my system because, number one, we will sell our options very, very far away from the money. So there's no way that a 1 day or a 2 day move is going to get your options in so much trouble that you cannot react. Now, that doesn't mean you won't lose money ever, but that you can do something about it. And then number two, unlike stocks, futures have what's called lock limit. We talked about it earlier. So if there's a big black swan event and oil moves a huge amount in 1 day, that's it. It's going to stop trading. It's going to be locked. The price will be frozen for the rest of the day, but options will continue to trade so that option traders like us can go in and exit our positions. And then, like I said earlier, oil trades almost 24 hours a day. So if you ever get scared, right? If you ever get scared of something, you can always go in and exit your position. Let's say you can't sleep at night. You're like, oh man, I'm really scared about this. I don't know what's going to happen. I can't sleep. Well, just go in and exit your trades. Get some sleep. Come back fresh the next morning. And if you want, you can get back in. It's not a big deal. Because of all these reasons, I feel very confident in saying that selling naked options in oil is not the same as selling naked options in stocks. And I mean, between me and the others that I have taught this to, we must have traded tens of thousands of contracts and never once been assigned on me. Okay? But if you still want the extra protection, you can simply sell credit spreads, which can still provide you a great return, but give you the benefit of knowing the maximum you can lose on a trade, right? It's stable. It's steady. So just do that. If you don't want to do naked, just do credit spreads. Simple. Uh-oh. Another quiz, all right? But this is good stuff, right? You guys digging this? Okay, so Greg's saying if the market goes lock limit, won't the options prices change? Yeah, option prices will change, but you'll be able to go in and exit your positions, right? So it's not like unlimited losses. It's not like in the stock market where it can go to zero, right? You can go in and you can change your position. You can adjust your trade to give you more time. Okay. Felipe says, but you have to sleep 8 hours a day. Of course you have to sleep. Yeah, I sleep a lot more than that, Felipe, to be honest. I'm not watching oil 24 hours a day. That's crazy. No way, man. I trade oil during the day, during market hours, and to be honest, I only look at it maybe once or twice a day. I don't have, I don't sit in front of my screen and stare at the stock market all day long. That's not what I want to do. That's not the life I want to live. I have an app on my phone that if I want, I can open my phone, unlock my phone, and it'll tell me, hey, this is what the oil price is. And I'll know in my back of my mind what my trades are. So I'll know, if it's moving in my favor or moving against me. And if it's a big move, then I'll go in and I'll check. And then I also have alerts set with my broker. So if my trade gets in trouble, my broker will send me an email that, hey, go check this trade out. I'm like, okay, cool. So I log in and I'll check. So, if you want to have a life, this is the perfect way to trade because you don't even have to watch the markets every day. All right. Okay. Let's see here. Are there weekly options in oil, Stan? Yes, there are. I don't trade them, but there are, I believe. Okay. What type of oil do you trade? I trade WTI. Okay. The symbol that we trade is \CL. That's what we trade. All right. So pop quiz number 2. Okay. But you guys are getting this, right? You guys are understanding this? Okay. Cool. So take a look at this chart. What do you think oil is doing? Is it moving up? Is it moving down? Is it moving sideways? Please enter your answer in the chat box. Because this is just like real trading, right? You pull up a chart. This is a chart of oil. This happened in the past, but you pull up a chart, and this is what you're going to see. So you have to come up with a prediction based on what you see, right? So what do you think? I'm not going to tell you what's going on fundamentally. All I want you to do is tell me, based on this chart and what the prices have been, this is a daily chart, what do you think oil is going down? What do you think it's doing? Is it going down? Is it going sideways? Is it going to go up? What do you think it's going to go down? So we got down, sideways, below support, moving down, consolidation, sideways or down, below resistance. Okay, awesome, right. I agree with you. In this case, I believe that oil is going to be moving lower or maybe even sideways. Okay, so in this particular trade, I would be bearish to sideways. That's what I would be. That's what I was thinking. That's all you need to know. You look at the trade. What do you think? I'm going to be bearish. I'm going to be sideways. So what I would do is I would sell a call, or for Felipe, a call credit spread, right? And I would do this out of the money, and I would sell the option that gives me an 85 to 90% probability of expiring worthless. So that would look something like this. The blue line is where I would sell my call, and this is where oil is trading right now. Okay, the way this works is that on expiration day, as long as oil is trading below this line here, below my call option, my option expires out of the money and I keep all the premium for selling it. Now notice how far away this is from the money. This has been over like a couple months it took oil to get from here to here. So for it to go up there in 1 month, not likely, right? Several percentage points. Now, I can win in this trade if oil keeps going down, like I think it's going to go. Like if it keeps going down, I can win. If it goes sideways, I can win. Or even if it goes up a little bit, as long as it doesn't go higher than my strike, I'm still going to win. Got it? So, trading with a 90% probability of success if oil goes up, down, or sideways. Let's recap. Once we have identified which way oil is moving, we can sell either puts or calls, depending on if we're bullish or bearish. Okay? And this is huge. Okay? If we think that oil is going sideways, we can sell both puts and calls under certain conditions. And we can make double the amount of money, double the return, without any additional capital or any additional risk. That's when the market is going sideways under certain conditions. Because you can't lose on both sides. Okay? Oil is only going to move up or down. We can sell both sides under certain conditions. Also, the options that we sell would have a 90% probability of success, meaning that at expiration, 9 of the 10 trades would expire worthless. Now, keep in mind, this does not mean that the 10th trade, the losing trade, loses a lot of money. Okay? You don't have to lose a lot of money. It simply means that we got out of the trade early, or we got stopped out at an acceptable loss. Right? So when you are trading, you know that you're going to have losing trades. So you have to decide in advance, okay, what is the most I want to lose on a trade? And that is where you set your stop loss out. And when you get to that point, you exit the trade. And then depending on the volatility at the time, we can make a safe 5 to 8% return for our trouble. Okay? Now, I myself aim for 10% a month, but even if I get 5%, I am happy. Now, you might be wondering, hey, Alan, how long do your trades last? Well, that does vary, right? Depending on the market, depending on what goes on. But sometimes I can get in and out the next day. Sometimes it takes a few weeks. On average, I'm in a trade about 14 days. Okay? And Billy's asking, how many trades per month? Well, Billy, if I'm lucky, I'll do 1 trade a month. Maybe 2. If I get in, and then it works, and I get out. Right? And then I'll do it again. If the month is steady, I'll get in again, and then I'll get out. That's in a good month. That's, perfect. Lately, that's what we've been having. Sometimes if it's a little bit risky, if it's a little bit not risky but volatile, moves around a little bit, you might have maybe 3 trades or 4 trades. You might have to get in and adjust your position a little bit, and that's all it takes. Let's see. How much premium is in this trade by Stan? Okay, I'm going to show you an example coming up. Okay. What will one position require on a spread? Okay, Russell, on a spread, if you do a credit spread, it's going to require whatever you want. So if you want to set it at, whatever the difference between the strikes is. So that's you can determine that. If you want to do $1, strikes or $2 strikes or $5 strikes, that's up to you. But all this stuff, right? 90%, win on 9 out of 10, selling puts and calls. This wasn't good enough, okay? Because I was doing it, but I had amazing stretches where for months I could do no wrong. And then I had unexpected losses that threw me for a loop. So this is what was confusing for me, because I was following, everything I laid out, and it would win, 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 and then boom, I had a loss. And I didn't know why. So I realized that there had to be a way for me to limit my losses further, or to even avoid them altogether. And I wanted to find out why I was having the losses, because there was one thing that I didn't know about, because when you're trading stock options, you don't have to worry about this. Okay? There was one element, one piece of the puzzle that I had completely ignored, because I didn't even know about it from before. This is the one thing that suffered or caused me my largest losses. Okay, when I was trading this stuff, and I'm telling you my story. In the beginning, the odds are on your side. You do really, really well, but you still have losses. Why was that? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Okay, and it was this one thing, this one element that I'd never worried about, and this is the thing that caused me my losses. It wasn't because I was on the wrong side of a trade or I didn't have enough money or anything like that, but there was this one thing that I didn't know how to manage, and that element is called margin. Okay? This is the biggest difference between futures and stock trading. Okay? And something that every oil option trader needs to understand to trade well. I lost the most money when I did not manage my margin carefully. And if not done correctly, it's the easiest way to blow up your account. It's not because you're wrong on the direction or oil moved against you. It is because you didn't manage your margin. And margin in futures is a little bit different than in stocks because it's fluid. It's always changing. So you have to know how to manage it in order not to have the large losses and blow up. Now, I know in stock options, in selling in selling equity options, we're told, okay, you go in and you sell the certain delta trade, and you do this, and this is how you manage it. But in futures options, you have to know how to deal with margin, and that is almost more important than anything else. So once I realized that this was causing me problems, I kept tweaking and I kept improving my trading plan until I finally nailed it. And it took me about 4 years of trading and testing to develop what I call the 15 rules of dominance. Special effects included. These rules are the culmination of all these years of trading and hundreds of trades. These rules take the 3 secrets that I just showed with you to the next level. They brought it all together. They covered all the contingencies. They cover how and when to get in a trade, when to get out, how to manage it, how to limit your losses, how to adjust everything. I mean, not only that, but these rules helped me to master margin so that I could use it in my trading instead of hurting me. Okay? Once I started trading with my rules, my results got much, much better. And it gave me the confidence that this was a reliable trading method, and then it just changed my life. Okay? If you take away all my trading knowledge, everything I know about trading, and if you just leave me with my 15 rules, I have 100% confidence that I'm going to be okay. That's the power that they have. But I wanted to see if this would work for other people and not just me. So I held a small class with a handful of people to teach them this. And guess what happened? They loved it. All right? So here are some of the results that they posted. Jim said he generated over 10% in 2 out of 3 months. Kuano said his trades for the month of February made $1,290. Stuart made 5.4% in January, and he's been making 5% ever since. Right? William exited his January trades for $2,600. I mean, how about that from great returns, right? Would you be happy with making 5% a month or 10%? I mean, imagine if you too could make $2,600 a month more than you do now. How sweet would that be? Now, I'm sure some of you guys are thinking, hey, that's not possible for me. Whatever reason you have. I get that. But I know for sure that if you had asked any of these guys a few months before they got started, they would have told you the same thing. Okay? And here's some more. Michael made $1,750, which for him was a 12.4% gain. Peter Tamayo made $800 on his trade. Michelle made $2,356 on her paper trades. Now, these are ordinary people just like you. And these results that they've posted are from their first couple months of trading this way. Okay? They hadn't been doing this for years. They're not pros at it. First few months and they're hitting it out of the park. Are you getting this? Are you excited yet? Can you see the potential? Paul here, right here. Paul made 27% in 9 days on his first trade. Wow. How much do you want to make on your first trade? I mean, he was brand new to this and he did great by just following the rules. How about you? Can you follow some simple rules? If yes, then you can do this. Here's some more happy campers. And here's some more people. Okay? Now, I want to point out something here about Janice right here. When she started, her husband told her she was wasting her time. He's like, Janice, again, you're buying another course. You're trying something else. You're just going to lose your money. Why don't you knock it off, Janice? But she proved him wrong. I mean, is there anybody in your life right now that is skeptical of you trading? Maybe a wife, a mother, a sister, an aunt, somebody, right? Your kids. There probably is, right? Wouldn't it feel great to prove them wrong? I mean, when I first started trading, okay, my wife was working 2 jobs to support us in my trading habit. So I knew exactly where Janice was coming from. And I made a promise to Janice when she told me that. I told her, look, Janice, I am going to work with you hand in hand until we prove your husband wrong. Okay? And I would like to make the same promise to you, if that's okay with you. I will work with you as long as it takes to master this, to prove your husband or spouse or whoever it is wrong. Okay? Now, again, these results from these people have come from just a couple months of trading. They just had gotten started, and they're getting fabulous results. So now, some of these, these are new results. But what about like longer term, right? Maybe this is just beginner's luck, right? How about some long-term results? Some people like Dale. Remember Dale I told you about? He made, what was it, 425% in a year? So this post came in from Rodney after a full year of trading a large account. He made over $100,000 in a year. Okay, so you're trading, your size doesn't make any difference. Small or large, this stuff flat out works. And hey, you remember Michael, right? The guy whose financial planner told him he was going to have to work another 5 years after retirement? Well, guess what? He took this course too, and he's happy to report that in his first 12 months, he was up over 93%. First 12 months. So now, not only is he going to be retiring on time, he's on track to retire early. How amazing is that? A total turnaround that happened because he took action. Not only that, but Michael loves this stuff so much, he got his son enrolled. Okay, his son is now trading this way, and he is doing awesome, even though he's active in the military, and he doesn't even have access to stable internet all the time. And he's still doing well. Okay? And the coolest part of these results is that these are people just like you. They come from all walks of life. They live all over the world. And 90% of them had never ever traded oil options before they took my course. Okay? And that is why I'm showing you so many of their results. Okay? Because I am super proud of them, but because that should give you the confidence that if so many people just like you can do this, so can you. Okay? And although I have shown you my own results when I got started, and I'll show you some more coming up, my own track record, you know, how I do, it's totally irrelevant to you. Right? I mean, I do great, right? I told you I make a living at this. And I get asked all the time, Alan, show me your most recent results. I'm not going to do this unless you got your most recent results and you're going to show me how much money you made, because I'm going to do exactly what you do. But you can't, right? Because my results are my results. I have years and years of experience. I've done thousands of trades. I don't expect you to do as well as me right away. But you might do as well as these people, right? That is who you should compare yourself to. The Dales and the Michaels and the Pauls. Doesn't that make sense? I mean, now some of you guys be thinking, hey, Alan, this sounds great and all, but how much money do I need to do this? Am I right? I think we already got this question. So here's what I did earlier. I went into my broker software and I looked at a trade where I'm selling 3 contracts. Okay? 3 contracts, three options. These contracts have a 88% probability of expiring worthless. Okay? And I can get 35 cents or $350 for each one. But before I tell you how much you need, let me ask you this. How much do you think you're going to need? Right? You're selling 3 contracts far, far, far out of the money, and you can make 35 cents on each one. How much capital do you think you're going to need? Let me know in the chat box. Selling only 3 contracts, but you can make, what was it? Close to $1,000. So if you can make $1,000, how much margin do you need? $300? Tony, you're out of your mind. $300. All right. So we got $12,000, $15,000, $6,000, for $5,000, $42,000, $300. Oh, that was Tony's. $300, $1,000, $1,200. All right. Good guesses. Here's the actual number. Okay. The actual amount is a little less than $4,000. So you can make $1,038.69. It's going to cost you a little bit under $4,000. And this is a monthly trade, right? So what is that? That's like almost 25%. Now please understand, I'm not advising you to do this trade. I'm not telling you to do 3 contracts on a $4,000 account. I mean, obviously you don't want to be risking all your money on one trade, but these are real numbers. Okay? This is, if you went to do this, this is what it would look like. Okay? Any questions about this? Now, this 4,000 is the margin or the amount that you would have to have in your account to get into this trade. Now remember that margin is going to fluctuate. So if the trade goes in your favor, the margin will go down. You'll need less. If the trade goes against you, the margin goes up. The amount also changes based on volatility. We talked about that earlier. Okay. Now you also might have noticed the max loss here. Max loss, $192,000. Oh my God, Alan! I can't afford that if I have the max loss. Well, that's scary, but that's if oil goes to zero. Okay, and oil's not going to zero anytime soon. They just have to put this number here because they're required to. Okay, but there's no way you're ever going to lose $192,000. Right? They're not even going to let you. Right? They're not going to let you lose more than you have in your account. So I mean, you don't even need to worry about that. Stan's asking, what is CLU8? That is that's the name of the option. So CL is what we're trading, right? And U is just the what month it is. So what if we put this to work in your life? What kind of difference would this make to you? To make maybe $1,000 a month like I used to do. Okay? That's 12 grand a year. For some people, that's a lot of money. But it doesn't have to stop there. It can be scaled up as much as you want. You've already seen how some students have ramped it up to make a lot more than $1,000 a month. Now remember, billions of dollars of oil is traded every day. If you want more, you just increase the size. That's it. Look, you're on this training because you want to improve your trading results in a big way while spending less time at it. And it would be great if there was a shortcut, right? A simple path that you could follow or a method that you could model that would give you the results you desire. So let me ask you a question. I've given you, Chuck, I see, I must have missed your question, but let me get back to it, all right? Because it must have been up there. So we're really close to, we're almost at the Q&A session. I'm almost done here. So as soon as we get to the Q&A, I'll make sure I answer that. But I want to ask you guys a question. So I've given you a ton of information on how to implement this stuff, okay? I've shown you why you should be trading oil, why you should be selling options on oil, and the 3 steps to be profitable. Okay, but I bet you that this has been overwhelming, and some of you guys have shown me in the chat box that you're a little bit overwhelmed. I mean, we did talk about a lot of stuff that's probably new to you. Now, unfortunately, I don't have the time today to cover every aspect of what you would need to trade to do this. But how would you like some help in implementing this? Huh? Would you be okay with a little hand to hold you on the journey, right? If I helped you to implement this, yeah, good. All right. So let me tell you about what I call the blank check trading course. Now, this course is designed to help you take control of your financial future by generating market-beating returns while lowering your overall risk, all within 20 minutes a day. So if you want to stop worrying about your retirement and you want to generate extra monthly income while you still have time to enjoy your life in a way that is brain dead simple, and you want all of this to take 20 minutes a day, Felipe, only 20 minutes, all right? Then this is specifically for you, all right? Now, I created this course to make it color by the number simple. You don't have to go through the stress of trying to figure it out, the fear of if you can make it as a trader or not, the loneliness of trading, because we're going to be doing this together, all right? And you don't have to grind it out for over 4 years. I went through all of that already. You don't need to. I want you to start having success in the first couple months, just like all those other people that I showed you earlier. So what's in the course? Basically everything you need to succeed. All right. Think of it as your giant 5-year plus shortcut. Remember, I mean, you could figure this out on your own. Definitely you could. It might take you longer than 5 years because you're not full time at it like I was. You know, you can figure out how a margin works, how to keep it from blowing up your account, how to adjust, how to, you know, if a trade goes against you, what strike to sell, how much to credit to get, how many days to expiration should you do, on and on. Or, I mean, just take the fastest path to success, which is the course. So here's how we're going to do it. The course is broken up into 5 modules. How to sell time, how to own your own oil well, how to be a master oil trader, the 15 rules of dominance, and getting started ASAP. Everything you need to trade the system is in the course, and there is nothing left out. Okay? You are getting the same exact trade that I use every day. The same thing, the same system that I'm doing every day, this is what you're going to get. Okay? And this is the same system that Brian uses. Okay? I got this from him on Facebook. He is using his profits from the system to buy his family a motorhome. I mean, doesn't that make you a little bit jealous? Well, I don't want you to be, because you can do it too. I mean, imagine that. Maybe a motorhome is not your style. What would you buy? Right? A new car? A new house? A second home? All of the above? I mean, it is possible. And I bet you if you told Brian before he joined that he was going to be buying a motorhome from his gains, he would have thought you were crazy. Right? Because he's just like you, a normal everyday person following a simple system that is set up to work in your favor. And here's a message from Tom. Okay? Tom says he has doubled his starting capital. He loves the program. Thank you again. And here's the most important part. He now believes he won't have to work until he's 65. He's going to be retiring early. Doesn't that give you goosebumps? Right? To hear that if other people can do it, so can you. Because I know what I'm going to be doing when I retire. I'm going to be starting my own foundation. What are you going to do when you retire? Well, what if you could do that much, much, much sooner? Are you guys getting this? And here's a message from Glenn. Okay? Glenn made $670 on his first trade. Now, okay, that's not a big deal, right? $670. Whoop-de-doo-dah, Alan. But that was his first trade. Let me ask you something. How long have you been looking for a trading system that actually works? A system that you can start getting great results on your first trade, right? How much time have you already wasted? How much money have you already wasted? Isn't it time to stop the losses? I mean, these guys are rocking it because they don't let their old habits break them down, right? This is what kills you, all right? You've probably been on this type of webinar in the past, right? You got all fired up. And then what happened the next day? Probably nothing. Probably didn't do anything. I mean, it's sad because I showed you the exact system I'm using and my students are using right now to trade oil options and to run successful portfolios. Chances are, real honestly, you're going to go back tomorrow and you're not going to go do anything with it. The reason why it's called old habits is because they're hard to break. It's human nature. So don't feel bad about it, all right? That's just the way we are. You're going to go back to your office the next day. You're going to go back to the same habits. You're going to do the same thing that you did yesterday. The only way that you're going to be successful is if we figure out a way to break that habit right now. The only way you're going to break that habit is by taking action, by investing in the blank check trading course and in yourself. Now, I can help you do this. I can give you the tools, but you need to break that habit so you can be successful. If you don't do that, you're going to just go back to your old habits. Everything we did for the last hour will be completely useless because you'll just go back to what you did yesterday, right? So the only way to make things happen is to break your habit, to take this to the next level. Now, at this point, you're probably wondering, hey, Alan, what kind of support do I get? Because I can't do this by myself. I don't want to. Well, what if I held your hand the whole way? What if I was there live in person to answer all your questions? So that's what we've added to this package. Okay, so we're going to do live group coaching calls. We do these on a regular basis, so you can pick my brain, ask questions, talk about the oil markets, get all of your questions completely answered. You're not sure what to do? Just ask. Stuck on a trade? Let's talk about it. If you have a losing trade, we can go back and day by day and look at it and see where you went wrong. You also get the past recordings of all these calls. Okay, so not only do you get the entire blank check trading video course, but you get the regular live coaching sessions. Total value so far, $5,994. But I wanted to give you more. Now, you remember when I said you wouldn't be trading alone? Well, you get not just me, but you get an entire community of people supporting and helping you. A whole community of traders trading this same way. So what we did was we set up a place to interact, and you get 6 months access to this private Facebook group, which is only for people trading our system. This group allows you to see what other people are doing, okay, and their results, because members post their trades and what they're doing and how they're doing. Okay, you can ask questions to me and other people in the group. If you're confused, just ask. We have amazing people that are making thousands and thousands of dollars trading oil options in this group, and they can help you. Okay, we normally charge $97 a month for this course, for this access to this group, but you get 6 months of it for free. And I think that if this was all you got, I think this package would be amazing. But I wanted to add in even more. I wanted to really pour on the value to make you say yes. Okay? So here's the question. Do you know the difference between money and time? Does anybody? Okay, because this is the bottom line, guys. What happens every 2 weeks? You get a paycheck, right? If you have a normal job, you get a paycheck every 2 weeks. So what happens if you spend all your money? What happens 2 weeks later? Well, you get another paycheck and another. It just replenishes. The money keeps coming back. If you lose your job, the government takes care of you. The government sends you a check, okay? The money replenishes. It comes back. But what about time? Do you get time back? If you miss your daughter's dance recital or your granddaughter's recital, do you ever get that back? If your son hits his first home run and he's coming home with with a big smile on his face, that only happens once in his life. If you're not there, what's going to happen? If you're stuck at the office, you're never going to get that smile back. What I'm trying to do here today, guys, is to save you a ton of time. Okay? So what else do you need to make this a home run for you? Well, I said, most of you said that you haven't traded oil options before. And I know that can be scary, right? Just like this kid here. Look at him. He's so scared of Santa Claus because he's never seen Santa Claus before. I get that, right? He's freaking out. Well, what if you could watch over my shoulder as I trade? What if I shared with you every trade that I'm doing in my own accounts? So let me give that to you, okay? The Facebook group that I mentioned earlier, I post all my trades in there. These are real money trades that I'm doing. So you can see if your trades match up to mine. I don't even know how to place a value on this, but in my other service where I charge for my trades, we charge $79 a month. So if this is the same value, that would be $948. Okay? The package is already worth $6,624. Now, have you ever read this guy, Robert Kiyosaki, his book? Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I mean, this book changed the game for a lot of people because it helped them understand financial literacy in a new way. All right? And for me, the biggest takeaway was the difference between assets and liabilities. Because poor people, they buy assets, right? Cars, boats, stuff that they have to pay for. Stuff that costs them money over and over again. Rich people, on the other hand, they buy and invest in things that make them more money. They get their money to work for them so they don't have to work for the money. That's what I want you to do. I'm not asking you to go into debt here. I want you to take some of your disposable income and put it into an investment that can return 10 times, 100 times your investment. Now remember, my goal is to help you attain freedom. So I want to stack the deck in your favor as much as possible. So I have one more bonus for you. The technical analysis for option traders training. Okay? I mean, I mentioned support and resistance earlier. If you don't know what that is, that's fine because we're going to cover it all on this training. Okay? Every short-term move, you're going to know how it is. After watching this training, you're going to know exactly how to determine all the short-term moves in any market, not just oil. Okay? This training value by itself is $499. But wait, Alan, what if I've never traded futures before? And I don't even know how to get a futures account. All right, I got you. I got you covered. Bonus number 5 is a report called How to Get Approved for Options and Futures Trading. If you need an account, just follow the directions in the report. Okay? And then I've saved one more bonus. One more quick start bonus. But this is a thank you bonus, and it's limited. Okay? It's only for the first 10 people to join. Okay? As a special thank you for attending this training, for the first 10 people, I'm going to give you lifetime access to the private Facebook group. Now, you get 6 months free already. Okay? But after that, it's $97 a month. If you're one of the first 10 people that join, you never pay ever again. Okay? That $97 a month charge goes away. So let's recap what we have here. You got the blank check trading course, the value of $4,997. The live coaching calls valued at $997. Lifetime membership to the private Facebook group. My own personal trades worth at least $948. The technical analysis training worth $499. The report that will get you approved for your futures account, $97, which brings the total value of this package to $5,624. or sorry, $10,535. I mean, that's a lot of stuff. I've literally stacked the deck in your favor. When I was coming up with this package, I kept asking myself, what else can somebody need? What else can I add to make this a slam dunk? And I can't think of anything else. I mean, you talk about teaching a man to fish. I'm not even going to teach you, but I'm going to take you to the water. I'm going to put the bait on your hook, and I'm going to demonstrate how I do it so you can just copy me. All right? So then if all this system did was to make you a profitable trader, would it be worth it if the price was $10,000? What do you think? Type yes in the chat box if you think it would be smart to pay $10,000 one time to be profitable for the rest of your life, right? Because you said you want a system that works, right? I think I've proven it that it works, not just for me, but for many others. So what is that worth to you? To have a proven system that can work year after year after year. Or if all it did was give you a like-minded community of traders to interact with, would it be worth it then? Awesome, right? Yeah, we got a lot more yeses coming. Yes, it is. How about if all it did was give you a way to earn 2%, 5%, 8% a month? Would it be worth it then? I mean, if I wrote down a secret, like, oh, here, this is the secret. This is how you make 2% or 5% a month for the rest of your life, and I sold it to you for $10,000, would you say yes? I mean, you've seen proof of other students that are making more than 5%. What if it only made 5%? What is 5% worth to you? Let's do a little math. If you have a $10,000 account, that's $6,000 in profit a year. If you have a $20,000 account, that's $12,000 a year. That's a lot of money. That's like a mortgage payment every month. That'll cover your mortgage. Or if you have a $50,000 account, that's $30,000 a year. I mean, forget the 529 plan for your kids, right? You can pay for college from your profits. And that is if you take your gains out. If you're taking the money out every month instead of leaving them in the account. If you leave them in the account, it's like exponential. So is $10,000 a lot? Yeah, but compared to what? I mean, it's a lot less than what you would pay for things like a university degree. Stanford here is charging you $189,000 for 5 years of school, right? And that doesn't include your food, your housing, any of that stuff. And I can bet you that we have so many students that are making a lot more than this Stanford grad at $67,000. I mean, geez, we're not going to charge you anywhere close to the $189,000 that Stanford wants to charge you because I am totally committed to your success. I want to give you a massive, massive 90% discount to what it's really worth. I want to show you exactly what you're going to get. Okay, you're going to get the blank check trading course with the 5 modules, the live coaching calls, the private Facebook group, lifetime membership, my own personal trades, the technical analysis tutorial, and getting approved for options and futures report. You get all of this for 3 payments of $397, or if you want the best price, just pay in full, get it for 1 payment of $997. To sign up and join me on this journey, just head on over to blankchecktrader.com right now. And remember, the lifetime Facebook group is for the first 10 people that sign up. Okay? Now look, I need you to understand something. This is more than just the numbers. Okay? Oh, sorry, George, that's blankchecktrader.com. You have to open it in like a separate browser. Just open a new tab or a new browser and type that in there. Okay? blankchecktrader.com. This, what we're talking about, is way more than the profits and the dollars. Because, I mean, imagine you had to drive across the country, okay? And you had to do it in this thing, this jalopy, right? What's the first thing that goes through your mind? It's like, man, I don't think this thing's going to make it. There's no way that thing is going to make it across the country, right? What's plan B? For most traders, for most of you guys, this is what you're using right now. You have a mismatch of ideas and systems and concepts and things that you picked up here and there, hoping that that stuff will actually get you to your destination. But when you're driving something like this, do you enjoy the trip? Hell no. You're too busy, hoping it works together, trying to, put things together, make sure they work. But what if instead you had something like this? Pretty sweet, right? You'd have no trouble getting across the country, and you'd be doing it in style. You'd have fun. It'd be memorable. And you'd be more confident, self-assured, and relaxed. This thing on the left is what you're driving right now. This thing on the right is what I'm offering you. Are you with me? Does it make sense? Because you see, I had two choices. The first option is I could keep this stuff to myself. And people have told me, hey, why don't you open a hedge fund and do this for other people? I could do that. But I have a goal to help 10,000 individual investors, right? So that's why I chose option number 2, where I could make this stuff individual to people who really want it at a fair price point. But it's not so cheap that you treat it seriously. And it has to be at a price that it's worth my time to get involved with you personally, because I'm in the Facebook group every day. I'm doing the coaching calls. I'm answering emails, right? Part of the value of this is me sharing my own time with me. Now, right? Part of what we've shared with you in the last 90 minutes, one of the things people are going to say is that, hey, I don't know about this. It seems hard. I don't have enough money. Maybe I'll do this later. I mean, you can make those excuses. But if you want to live your dreams, you have to take action. You can't just stay stuck, right? It's either take action or suffer. Make excuses why you can't afford it, why you don't have the time, why you don't want to try. Life is not going to change. So either you have to choose one or the other. So now you have 3 choices. Either you do nothing and nothing changes, life continues as is. That's not what you want, right? Or you could try this, try to do it yourself. It took me 4 years to figure it out full time, and I kept getting stuck, Or you could take door number 3, which is have faith in your dreams, make a small investment, and let's do this together. Keep in mind, I'm with you the whole way. Or maybe you should just listen to Gary, right? Gary says he paid for the course from his trades in his first month, right? I mean, he's not the only one. I've shown you earlier, many students are having great success right out of the gate with this program. It's time for you to get on board and join us. Okay? Now, here's a question I've been asked before. Say, Alan, can I get the course now and pay for it with my profits? And up till now, we never had a way to do this. But now we do. And it's called PayPal Credit. So if you're in the United States and you can pass a quick credit check, PayPal will finance the course for you for 6 months with no payments and no interest. You get full access to the entire course. You can trade it for 6 months before you ever pay them a penny. Isn't that awesome? I mean, if you want to take advantage of this, just head on over to blankchecktrader.com, click on the PayPal image at the bottom of the page, and then just choose PayPal Credit. They will guide you the rest of the way. But you get the full course now, and you don't have to pay for it for 6 months. Awesome, right? So here's what you need to do next. Open up a new window or a tab in your browser and just type in blankchecktrader.com. Choose your payment plan and enter all your information. And then click checkout. Your login information will be emailed to you, and everything you need will be in the members area. So if you have any questions, just email us. Okay? Now you might be wondering, why is the bonus for the first 10 people? Well, it's really simple. Because science has told us that human beings are motivated more by loss than by gain. So even if it's in our best interest, we don't take action because of inertia, what we call laziness, right? So even though you know this course can work for you, and you know that this is an investment that can be returned to you many times over, and you've seen proof that it works for people just like you, you're still likely not to make a decision in your own best interest unless you're motivated to do so. So I don't know of any other way to motivate you better than to give you a massive discount and all these bonuses that are not available at any other time than right now. Because I know what this program can do for you. I know what it has done for other people, and it's doing every day. So if that means that I have to drop the price and add extra work for myself by adding lifetime coaching and support, I'm willing to do that if it'll motivate you to take action. Okay? So now look, you've done it. You've watched the entire presentation. You want a trading system that makes money, and you know that this is an excellent value. Take advantage of this incredible discount and the amazing bonuses now. Head on over to blankchecktrader.com, and I hope you're one of the first 10 people so you get that fast action bonus. Okay, so now let me take a real quick sip of water, and then we can start the Q&A. So if you have any questions that I haven't answered yet, please put them in the chat box, and we'll get to them as soon as I get back. 2 seconds. All right. Now, some of you guys might be thinking that, hey, man, Alan, this is kind of confusing. And I get that. It probably seems complicated right now. But I bet you can play blackjack, right? The casino game where you try to get close to 21 without going over. Well, in that game, if you have a 19, would you ever take another card? Probably not, right? Because the chances are overwhelming that you're going to lose. Well, that's how you pick trades. Same thing, right? I will show you how to pick trades that are exactly like having a 19 in blackjack. Okay? So we put the odds in your favor. Or you might be thinking, hey, man, I might have to change my brokerage account. Well, to me, a broker is like a vehicle, like a car, right? It's something that you use to get you from point A to point B. Do people have more than one car? Of course. I mean, I get that. It's a little extra work to set up a second brokerage account. But are you going to let that stand in your way? I hope not, you know? We also get some questions about the trades and the Facebook. So the Facebook group is the only place I post my trades right now because I don't want you to follow them blindly. I want you to learn so you could do it for yourself. That is why we have a course, right? It's not just a membership where I just feed you trades. It's not a thing that you pay for over and over again. It's like raising a child. When they're born, you carry them, right? And that's why we have my course. That's why I share my rules, because I'm carrying you and showing you how to walk. But once the child starts walking, you hold their hand for support. That's what the coaching is for. And access to me, where I'm holding your hand. But then one day, the child lets go of your hand. And that's a proud day because they don't need you to help them walk anymore. That's where I want to take you, so that you can walk and eventually run on your own. And then I'll stand back and watch with a huge smile on my face, if you don't mind, right? But I'll still be there if you ever need me. And yes, I know some of you guys are thinking that $997 is a lot of money, and that's making you hesitant. It might seem like a lot by itself. But if I were to teach you this in person at a seminar, it would take 4 to 5 days. So I'd have to charge you for the seminar. You'd have to fly to the seminar, get a hotel room, maybe a rental car. It would definitely cost you many times what I'm charging, right? And also, this is an investment. It gives you lifetime access to me. I mean, my staff says I'm crazy to offer lifetime access for a one-time charge. Because on a dollar per hour basis, I lose money doing this. Because I could be making a lot more money doing other things instead of coaching people who are not giving me any more money to coach them. But I want this to work for you, so I'm going to be there every day until you let go of my hand or you don't need me anymore. Because Russell asked a question. Russell asked, is there a, hold on a second. Russell asked if there was a refresher rate because he had joined in 2017. Russell, if you are already a member of the course, you don't need to repurchase anything. Your login and password should be good. If they're not, just email us, help at optiongenius.com, and we'll get you a new login, a new password. And if you've already paid, man, you're part of the family, and it's good for life. You get access to this course forever. So, Russell, that's what you got. If you're in, you don't need to do anything else. Okay. All right. And another question I get is, how many contracts do I need to get my money back? So, yeah, I get it. This is an investment. You need to do like a return evaluation, right? So let's say you do, in the example that I showed you earlier, 35 cents, which is a decent credit for an option. Very doable in a $10,000 account. If you sell 3, you get $1,000, $1,050. Boom. One trade, you get your investment back. Try that in any other investment, right? And then there are people that write to us and say, hey, I want to see your performance. What's your specific performance? I want to see your trades performance month to month going back all these years. Well, I have that in the Facebook group. All of my trades are posted from the beginning in the Facebook group. So if you want that, they're in there. Okay? But my own track record, while amazing, is irrelevant to you because it doesn't correspond to you. I mean, I have years and years of experience. I've done thousands of trades. I don't expect you to do as well as me right away, but you might do as well as my other students. And that is who you should compare yourself to, and why I showed you dozens of results from other people. Doesn't that make sense? And then maybe some of you are thinking that, hey, you can't afford this. And that reminds me of another story from that Rich Dad, Poor Dad book, right? When poor people see something that they want, they think, man, I can't afford that. But when rich people see something that they want, they think, how can I afford that? It's a question of how you think. Now, obviously, if you're living on your Social Security, trading is not for you, right? But if you already have a trading account, $397 a month for 3 months is not going to put you in the poorhouse, but it can change your life. I mean, that's our 3-month payment plan. Or if you're a U.S. resident with decent credit, we have a deal with PayPal. They'll finance the course for you, 6 months, no interest, no payments, right? It's a no-brainer. All right, so let me see what other questions that we have. Okay, Randy's asking, can I trade this just entering trades after hours to get in and to get out when managing trades? In other words, I can't watch markets during open hours. Will it work for me? The answer, Randy, is yes. Now, in all honesty, after hours, there is less liquidity, right? So there are less people trading. So you might get different prices. Can you do it? Yes, because we do have a lot of people that are overseas that are doing this in different countries: Australia, Singapore, Thailand, the UK, South America. Well, South America has maybe the same time zone, but we have a lot of people, Hawaii, that are doing this in different time zones, and it does work. It's you have to get used to it a little bit, and we can work on that with you. But yeah, but really, if you can even spend 5 minutes a day or 10 minutes during your lunch hour, that's what I would suggest. You know, you could what you could do, Randy, is you could do all your analysis when the market is closed, right? You could do your fundamental, looking at the long-term picture, looking at the charts. You could do that, and then you could put your trades in to be filled when the market opens, and then if you can look at your lunch hour for like 5 minutes on your phone, you could check, hey, did my order get filled? And if not, you can change it really quickly, and you can do that. And then you can set up your exit orders at the same time. So it doesn't really take a lot of time. If that's an issue, we can definitely work with you and figure that out. All right. Is this purely mechanical and rules-based method, leaving nothing to guesswork? Yes. I mean, that's what the rules are, right? If you follow the rules, they tell you when to get in, they tell you when to get out, they tell you how to adjust. And that's it. They show you everything. The only thing you need to figure out is if you want to get in or not. Right? That's the only thing you need to figure out. Say, what is the market doing right now? Because the rules will not tell you if we have a bear market or a bull market. You decide that, and then you decide, do I want to do puts? Do I want to do calls? Do I want to do both? You decide that. And then the rules will tell you exactly how to put those trades on, how to manage them, how to get out. And then, of course, if you have any questions, you put them in the Facebook group. Say, hey, I'm thinking about doing this. What do you guys think? And people will give you their ideas. What size account do you suggest to trade with? Awesome question, Jim. I would suggest that you start with paper trading. Right? Either you do it on a piece of paper, or you get like a virtual trading account and do it that way. That way you don't make any mistakes, or whatever mistakes you make are done while you're still learning and you have no money at risk. After that, you do what feels comfortable, whatever you can start with. Can you start with 5,000? Can you start with 10,000? But I would do the paper trading first until you get consistent, until you get comfortable, and you understand how your broker system works. So what the buttons are, the orders, all that stuff. You get all that stuff out of the way, then you bring in real money and you start doing it that way. But I would probably suggest you start off with, I would like to say 10,000 if you have it. That way, you're not using the whole account for your trading. So you have money that sits there and you don't use it in reserve. If you start out with an account too small, it's still doable, but then there's more pressure on you, more stress on your brain, and so you might make mistakes. I've seen people do that. When are the live coaching calls? So we do them on a regular basis. We actually have one coming up on Thursday. So the next coaching call is coming up on Thursday, JB or GB. And so we do those roughly. I try to do at least one a month, or we do them when the market is if there's something going on in the markets that we need to share with everybody, then we'll do it. We'll do more. We'll do more than just once a month. But normally we do one a month in case, and then they're recorded and they're all posted in the members area, so you can actually go back in time and look at all of them. How long are the modules? Different price. Some of the ones are easier and shorter. The ones with the rules and themselves, I go into more details. But like I said, we have. So basically, I think your question is how long it'll take you to do it. We try to break them down into pieces so you can go through them at your own time, and they're all recorded. So as soon as you get in, you do them as soon as you can. I've seen people do them in a weekend, and I've seen people go through the whole course in a month. So it really depends on how much time you have. All right. Okay. Okay, I understand the /CL, but the U8 confuses me. Is there a table that covers that? Yeah, it's called an options chain, Stan. And so /CL is oil. The U8 just tells you what month it is. So it might be January, February, March. It just corresponds to the month. All right. Okay. Chuck's question about the double-edged sword. Let me get to that one. Since oil options have 10 times premium over stock options, that's about right. Isn't that a double-edged sword? If oil drops, the loss will be much greater. So there is more leverage involved, right? But as a percentage number, as a percentage amount, no, it's the same. You're going to lose whatever you're going to lose. So if I'm trading $35 and I can lose $35, I can lose 100% of that, or I can lose $350. I can make a $350, or I can lose $350. You're just playing with bigger numbers. So the risk is the same, but the numbers are just bigger. Does that make sense? So I mean, obviously, if you are, you're trying to, you're able to make more money, but you can also lose a little bit more money. But as a percentage basis, when you're following the rules, we're going to keep it the same. Okay, Jim, I tried to log in to subscribe, but get the subscribe page. So Jim, did you go to blankchecktrader.com to sign up? Is that what you're talking about? That's the order form. Or did you already join and you're trying to log into your membership area? Let me know. Okay. Will the system avoid massive potential losses that credit spreads are renowned for? Okay, so Randy, credit spreads have a max loss, right? So you can lose a set amount, right? So you can't lose more than that. So I don't know what you're talking about, the massive potential losses. Yeah, you can, if you do a trade that you can lose $500, then you can lose that $500. That's the worst case scenario. So obviously with our system, we try to limit any losses, right? So you have the ability of either adjusting or getting out. And what we use is we use a method where we're monitoring our margin and then we adjust based on the margin. So we adjust it when our margin changes to a certain amount. Based on that, then we'll adjust. And most of the time, we can save our trades by adjusting. Other times, we'll get out and it'll be at a amount that we are comfortable with. So you have a stop loss, right? You say, hey, if I can make 10% a month, I don't want to lose more than, let's say, 20% a month. So that way, it'll take me 2 months. If I lose, it'll take me 2 months to get my money back. Does that make sense? All right. Okay. So how long until I start making money? Well, that depends on you, because some people make money within a couple weeks. For some people, it takes months. Terrence, who is now making a few $1,000s a month, I mean, he actually did not. He was in the beginning. He just tried to do it on his own for 6 months. And I just told him, I said, man, just do it the way I tell you to do it. I've been doing this for a long time. Just do it with the rules. He finally broke down and he finally did it. And after 6 months, boom, he started making hundreds and thousands of dollars. So it really depends on you. How closely do you follow the course? How much you interact in the group? It could be 6 months. It could be shorter. It could be longer. I don't know. If you don't follow the course, it's not going to happen. If you do follow the course, it could be super fast, right? So I'm just trying to, how much can I make with a $20,000 account? That's a good question. Legally, I can't say. I can't claim or guarantee any kind of result, right? It wouldn't make sense. Most months are going to be good because the odds are in our favor from the beginning. Most months, you probably won't have to do anything. You won't have to touch anything. You put the trade on, you take it off, boom, it worked, awesome. Some months will be bad. You will have losing months. This is trading. There's no way around it. But the good months easily overcome the bad months. Okay? And I've seen in my trading, I can make, from 5 to 10% a month. That's just my numbers. The account size, whether it's 10,000, 20,000, 100,000, that doesn't matter. With a larger account, you just trade more contracts. All right. How much time do I need to dedicate to the course each week? And how much for managing the trades? So the course is work at your own pace. It's recorded. You can consume it as fast as you can. All right. That's up to you. As far as managing the trades, it takes like almost no time. I mean, I might check on my trades a couple of minutes a day. I check the price of oil, and then that way I know, if my trade is going well or not. You can also have alerts, trade alerts, come in from your broker. They can email you or text you. So I check oil prices once a day, maybe a minute or two. I mean, it doesn't take long. And then if I make an adjustment if I need to, but normally I don't need to. So it hardly takes any time at all. I mean, this is one of those things where it's pretty much, it'll take some time in the beginning for you to learn and do some trades. Once you got it, it's pretty much simple after that. How much is this every month? Okay, so this is not a membership, right? There's no cost. I'm giving you everything. It's join right now. You get access to the Facebook group forever if you're one of the first 10. Otherwise, after 6 months, we bill you $97, but you cancel anytime if you want, and you have 6 months to decide if it's worth for you. All right, so Randy's saying, you say you receive 5% per month. Is this 5% total trading capital or for the account? So Randy, when I do it, my oil trades, I have separate accounts for oil only, okay? And in those accounts, I'm aiming for 5% on the entire account. So if I have $50,000 in the account, I'm aiming for 5% of 50,000. Okay? It's not for the trade. Okay. Is this course live or all online? Modules are already recorded. They're in the members area. You can watch them at your own pace over and over again. The group coaching is live and it's done on a regular basis. But if you can't make it to one of those sessions, just email us a question in advance and I'll answer it. Or you can even post it in the Facebook group and get a faster response. So you have lifetime access to the coaching calls and the support. So take advantage of this discount, guys. Take advantage of these bonuses now, even if you're not ready to get started right now. Okay? Because we'll probably take some of these away. We're getting more and more people into this course. We're going to start taking away some of these bonuses so that it takes, not so much of my time and I can focus more on each person. I'm a relatively new trader. Is this a good fit for me? Yeah, I think so. I mean, most of my students are relatively new. Some are brand new to options. And for them, it takes a little longer to get started. So if you're brand new to options, let us know and we can actually give you some even more material. We have pre-course content, which is basic beginner stuff. that will help you get started. But if you need even more than that, let us know and we can get you a whole lot of stuff that shows you the basics of options and get you started really quickly. Okay? So I think the course is great for beginners and for experienced traders. Is it hard to get a futures account? No, I don't think so. I mean, you just have to fill out a form with your broker. But on that form, the brokers look for very specific answers, or you might get denied. Okay, because it's a computer saying yes or no to you. So you have to answer in the way that they want you to answer. So I have a report called How to Get Approved for Futures Options. It's in the members area. Just follow the report step by step and you'll be fine. All right. How much money do I need to do this? Okay, I think we covered this earlier, but I'm going to tell you, start off with paper trading. That takes no money. Okay, get all your kinks worked out, get some confidence, get some consistency, and then put some money in. And I think Ameritrade, we asked them, how much does it cost to open a futures account? They said you can add futures for $2,000. All right. So, I mean, you don't need a lot of money to begin with. So, but do the paper trading first. Why don't you do this on USO instead? Okay, so USO is a equity ETF. It's the oil ETF, but it does not have the advantages of trading oil the way I showed you. You don't get enough credit. You have to sell a lot closer to the money, and you're still trading in the stock market. So for that reason, I wouldn't bother with it. It's not the same thing. Because a lot of mutual funds that cannot trade oil, they cannot trade futures, they trade USO. They put money in USO. So if the stock market drops, they're going to sell everything, including their USO. So USO might go down where oil doesn't. Okay? They're not completely correlated. I just signed up. Did I make the cut for the lifetime group? Oh, awesome. Welcome aboard. So you should get an email with your login details very soon. If you haven't already. As for the fast action bonus, I don't have the shopping cart up in front of me. So I don't know how many people have joined, but I can't tell right now, but I hope you are. So good luck. Does your system require the ability to enter and manage trades during normal East Coast work hours? We covered this earlier, but you can enter and manage your trades after hours, but the liquidity is less. So I prefer to do it during business hours. I mean, but literally it takes like 5 minutes to put on a trade or to adjust one. So if you can take a few minutes during a coffee break or a lunch break, that should be fine. Nowadays you can trade from your phone or your tablet. So, it's not really that difficult. Does this work in up and down markets? What if oil jumps sharply? Yeah, I mean, I've done this when oil was going up. I've done this when oil was going down, right? I mean, I've shown you how to determine what the oil market is doing and what direction you should be favoring. So the rules of dominance, they will help you allocate your capital. They'll help you dictate how many contracts you should be trading so that even if oil does make a strong move in one direction or the other, you're going to be prepared and you'll even be able to take advantage of the move. All right. I don't want to be stuck to the screen all day, and with oil being traded 24 hours a day, how do you sleep? I sleep like a baby because although oil does trade 24 hours a day, unless you want to, you don't have to. I mean, I don't. I just trade during normal business hours. Now it's possible oil might make a move while you're sleeping. And if that happens, the main effect would be probably in Brent crude, which is traded around the world. For our course, we trade WTI crude, which is the U.S. It's produced in the U.S. So WTI can still be affected if something happens overseas, but 90% of the trading in WTI is done during U.S. trading hours. I mean, all the reports, most of the meetings, most of the announcements, they all happen when we are awake, okay, during trading hours. And from what I've seen over the past, how many years I've been doing this, any change in the market, if there's like a big change, it takes a few days to play out. So you have time. And of course, there's still the lock limit protection. And we're also selling our options far, far away from the money. So it's not really a concern. I think for you, you just need to get started and you're going to see for yourself how it works. So I don't want you to make up things to scare yourself, right? So what happens if I'm asleep, or what happens if the market is closed? Well, I mean, have some faith, have some trust, right? Don't make up things to scare yourself. Do we have lifetime access to the course and the updates? Yeah, you absolutely do have lifetime access to the course. You take it anytime you want. You can access all the updates, all the changes, modifications, everything except the group, which is extra after 6 months, unless you're one of the first 10. Okay? And we already have 2 comments from people that said they've joined, so I would hurry up. If you're thinking about joining, hurry up, right? I want you to get in that first 10. What else do I need to implement this? Good question. So you need 3 things. You need an account that will let you trade futures options. You're going to need some money. Well, not if you're paper trading, so you don't even need that. You need to paper trade. And you're going to need the blank check trading course. That's about it. What broker do you use? Okay, I currently use Thinkorswim. The software is called Thinkorswim. It's from Ameritrade. They own it. So any broker is doable. You can do it with any broker that will allow you futures options. You don't have to use mine. How do we access the coaching? All right, so we have these coaching calls on a regular basis. The next one, like I said, is coming up in 2 days on Thursday. Those are done with GoToWebinar, sorry, just like this one. We do a webinar just like this one. We record it, and then we put it in the members area. I can answer questions as they come up. What we do is we look at the fundamental picture first, what's going on in the world with oil. Then we look at the charts, we look at the technicals, and I'll tell you, and I'll try to predict, what I think oil is going to do in the next few days, couple of weeks. We look at any trades that I have on, and then we open it up to students. So if somebody has a trade they want us to look at, then I'll look at it, and if it was a losing trade, we'll try to figure out why it lost money. If you have any questions about the course, if you have any questions about anything else, it's open. It's your time. You ask whatever you want. Okay? And then those are recorded, and they're put in the members area so you can watch them over and over. Okay, Jim's saying that he's got in as well. Awesome. Great, Jim. Glad to hear. Okay, I'm 65, about to retire. Is this going to work for me? Well, 65 is still young. I mean, we have students all the way past 80. We have retired students and people who are still working. Some that never traded options before, right? And some that have been doing it for longer than I have. So although I don't know you, sir, and I can't answer for sure, I'm guessing that you're going to be okay. Do you use stop losses? You can. And I actually teach a different way to know when a trade has gone against you. So we base our methods on margin and on the delta of the trade. So if that sounds foreign to you, don't worry about it. We spend a lot of time in the course explaining the concepts. Okay. Let's see here. Do you still trade equity options? I do, yes. I still have my Option Genius service. And if I were to start over, though, I would just stick with oil. I mean, if I were to do it if I could only pick one, I would just say oil. So I have different accounts. I have my retirement accounts, I have my trading accounts, and then I have my oil accounts. So I do it all. How much are the commissions? Okay, so these vary by broker. Commissions do vary. I think I pay about $3 per option. But because I'm not trading so many contracts, I don't pay as much in commissions for oil as I do in equities. And as a percentage of the trade, it's a lot less money. So, if you take a look at the gain on oil trades versus equity trades, it might be 1% of my oil profits, whereas my commissions might be worth like 5-6% of my equity options. As an example, I just made up those numbers. All right, so this is a long one. Doug says, your trading course is very comprehensive and appears to offer good value, especially for those who are less knowledgeable in the trading arena. However, for me, I don't need hand-holding. I could probably use your strategy right now on my own without any further guidance from you. Okay. That said, if you were to offer a significantly trimmed down version of your course, just the meat without all the gravy, I might be interested if the price is right. Okay. All right. I'm not really sure how I should respond to this, Doug. I mean, you say the course offers good value, but you still want a discount. Then you say you don't need the hand-holding, So I assume that you're already trading well on your own and you have a decent account. So in that case, I would tell you that you just need to start treating your trading like a business. Okay? And if you do, you're going to see that this is an investment. So if you make this tiny investment, what would the return on investment be? I mean, you've already heard from folks that got the entire cost of the course back on their very first trade. So if the average premium on an option is $350 and you sell 3, you make 100% return on your course, right? What other business can you get 100% return on your investment in a month? I can't think of any. So, Doug, we don't offer a trimmed down version. I hope you take advantage of it because, I mean, if you have a decent trading account and you get your money back like lickety split, it's not a big deal. Okay, so I think I have covered all of the questions. Anybody else have any questions? Please put it in the chat box. Let me know. This is last call for questions. Okay. And then we are going to send out the recording. So if you are, if you think of a question later on, you can email me always at help@optiongenius.com and we will get you an answer. Okay. I just want to share one more thing with you. Sorry. I want you to think ahead. 5 years from now. Time is going to go by. We can't stop time, right? So 5 years are going to come before we even know it. I want you to imagine your life and what it would be like if you took action today and the course did everything I say it's going to do. If it worked for you. 5 years from now, what would your life be like? What would you be doing? Where would you be living? What do you own? What do you have? What have you done? Go ahead and imagine that. Whatever you're imagining, that life cannot be yours unless you create it, unless you jump on this opportunity in front of you. Okay? And most of the time, that's the only thing that separates the super successful people from everybody else. The super successful go for their dreams, and they invest in themselves. So if you really want to be financially successful, make it happen. Take action. That's what I did, right? It was not luck or good fortune. It was action over and over again. And for me, it took me several years. If what I've shared struck a chord with you and made sense to you, then I'm more than happy to take you with me under my wing and hold your hand on this journey. I don't want this to take years for you. I want it to be now, right? So I thank you for spending this time with me. I look forward to seeing you in the course and working with you. All right? Take care.